Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Hi there.
Hi, Lonni. So we have 4 participants right now. Maybe we'll have more soon.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll experiment with putting the agenda on the screen. Maybe that'll be good. Let's see. Okay, I've got the agenda up there. I don't see anybody else, so, well, it's on 12:30 yet. We'll wait a bit longer, of course. How's everyone doing?
Well, we just got back from riding horses, so that was fun.
Oh, wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, we have a new horse, and he's just doing so well with Bill and with the horse. So I'm just absolutely delighted.
Oh, that's wonderful. What's the horse's name?
Snowy, but I think I'm referring to him as Saint Snowy.
That's nice.
Yeah, such a good boy.
Does he hail from New England or is he from far?
He's originally from Kansas and was used for cutting cows.
Oh.
So he's a typical quarter horse of that job description.
Nice. I wonder if he has been eating lots of grass. Oh, I've got to get these participants. Let's see here. Admit all. Okay, I think we've got a bunch more folks. We have Tom Sigia. They're connecting to audio. We'll just do this.
Jaya should be around.
She is, but she's unmuted. I mean, she's muted. Maybe I'll unmute her. Hi, Jaya. Did you want to be unmuted?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's 12:30. We can wait a couple more minutes for others. I'm not sure if Christine.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Do we have enough people for a quorum?
Yes, we do. I sent the thing the wrong one. Anyway. Oh, Christine, real quick. I've asked her. Carol Magana is on. Christine Shreves, admit. Okay. So I think we can. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome.
Hey there.
Hi. So just go quickly through to do introductions. So I'm Lydia Vivante, one of the co-chairs.
I'm Christine Shreves, the other co-chair.
I'm Jaya, part of the recycle committee.
Go ahead, Beth.
Beth Kramer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, nice to see you, Beth.
Welcome back, Beth.
Oh, great.
Okay, then we have
There we
Lonni,
go.
Lonni Briggs, Brigid McKenna, and Zeno Schwebel. So, and Tom Sigio from the, he's on mute right now, but he's from the Shellfish Advisory Board. We don't have anyone from, oh wait, I've got to admit Jane. Let's see.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get minutes.
Sure. Jane Sharp has joined us as well. And I see Carol Maginot, but I don't see a video for her. Maybe she's phoned in. And this is being recorded, so just to let you know that as well. Hi, Jane. You're on mute. If you want to unmute yourself, you can do that, or I can do it for you.
Unmute. There we go. Is that better?
Yep, we can hear you now. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
We don't really have anyone from the Department of Public Works on yet. So there the other day, and as you know, you've probably seen it too, the way that the recycling area is, there are all those separations so you can access the different single stream compactors. It's been working really well, and the compost is back up and running as well, which is really nice. And textile recycling, as well as the brush pile, the metal pile, the paint area. People are picking up compost from the yard waste area. So it's nice. And yeah. Do we have, do you want to, any announcements from anybody? No, okay.
Lydia, I can only see one person at a time. Who else is there apart from you and Christine?
Well, we have 10 participants. I think if you change your view to gallery view, you'll be able to see everybody in a block. So in your upper right of your screen, there should be a little thing that looks like a square, and you're probably in speaker view. You want to change it to gallery view.
It's on my phone.
Well, it might be also on your phone. Maybe it's on the bottom section. There'll be a little toolbar that you can switch to see everybody at once.
On my phone, you just swipe to the left with your finger and everybody comes up in a row.
Ah, thank you.
You could try that.
You can see Jaya, and I can see Lydia and Bethia.
Not everyone has opened up their camera.
Okay.
Yeah, good. So since we have some guests today, I think that we should go to those agenda items so we don't have to keep them for lots of the other agenda items. Why don't we start with Tom Sigio and is it Zeno Schwebel?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Hi, Lydia.
Hi.
Excuse me. Thank you for the opportunity to meet your board here. My name is Tom Sigio. I'm on the Shellfish Advisory Board. And with the Shellfish Advisory Board and the shellfishing community, we're seeking ideas for alternate materials that we use in the harbor, using possible innovative technologies to reduce the plastics. We're looking at either to replace them or find a impractical or practical way of replacing them. And that includes zip tags, zip ties, grow bags, plastic trays, all the tags we use, clam nettings, any single-use plastic is basically what we're focused on. So we put out a request, and we found 2 interns for this summer. Ross Shermer and Zeno, who's on the call here, Schwebel. And, we're lucky to have both of these individuals. They're just young individuals with beautiful resumes and young, but I think they're very talented and very intelligent to help us in this space. So far, here's what we've done. We've got 3 grant owners that will take the young adults here through what they use and talk about what they've seen in the marketplace as possible replacements for those items. We definitely wanted to get them in front of you, for your advice and counsel as we go through the summer. Also, we're going to meet with the Conservation Commission and get their advice and input. So the goal here is to work as a community, and the individuals will spend the summer, 5 hours a week. It's not a paying job, but they'll meet with vendors also to get their ideas and thoughts, and hopefully get some material that we can test this summer in the Wellfleet Harbor. There's also been talk about if we have it, it'll probably be virtual, but at the end of the year we have that the harbor discussion.
The conference, right?
And we're working with John Dwayne and a few others to see if we can get ourselves on the agenda for 10, 15 minutes.
That's a great idea.
So that's basically it in a nutshell. Any thoughts or ideas or questions? First of all, let me introduce Zeno. Zeno, say hi to the team.
Yeah, hello. Sorry, I turned my video on, but my internet keeps warning me that it's about to quit. But yeah, Ross is working. That's why he can't be here today. But later we're gonna check up on some of the grants today. And kind of at this stage, we're just trying to get an idea of what is currently out there, what people are using, because I don't have a lot of experience with the aquaculture in Wellfleet. But then hopefully move towards alternate things or alternate methods that can be more sustainable.
Great. The materials that they use currently, they probably get them from providers on the Cape. I don't know, some of the larger outfits that supply the gear. I wonder if reaching out to them and seeing if they've heard of alternatives or if they'd be willing to look at alternatives to the zip ties. I remember, Lonni Briggs, one of our members, researched found some alternatives, but it seemed like they were working mostly in agriculture on land rather than in the sea. Certain items made of degradable plastic or plant-based plastics. There's also clips and things like in the mountaineering field, the kind of little carabiners and things, or clips that you squeeze them and you can open up, be able to release them, something like that. If you could it sounds great that you have 3 grant owners that are willing to try out some alternatives to the plastic aquaculture equipment. Is that right?
Yeah, we're hopefully it's 3. It's probably going to be more, but and then we want to get the the Wellfleet grant to try some things out also. Johnny and Nancy.
Right.
But we have some good leads so far,
Uh-huh.
and that's what these young guys will be doing. They'll be spending time with them, and it's a different. We're in a different market right now. Hopefully, we can, do Zoom meetings with the vendors and try some of their products out. But I have your note, Lydia, on that company. So, we're going to, create on our Shellfish Advisory Board website, we're going to create a file that will just keep us abreast of the vendors we've talked to, the ideas that are coming up, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not inundated with paperwork, but we're spending more time actually working on these products.
Right.
Hey, John Dwayne is trying to join, Lydia. Do you see him on your?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I'll admit them both. I didn't.
he's part of. There's three of us since
Okay.
these.
Hi, welcome, John. Sorry about the, I didn't see that you were in the queue there. Connecting to audio. And John Dwayne, is he one of your Shellfish Advisory people, or?
Yeah, John's been on the Shellfish Advisory Board for a long time, and he helps us out tremendously in a lot of areas. And he's one of three individuals that's basically been tagged to work this plastics task force.
Great.
Hey, John, I just took the team through what we've done so far and introduced Ross and Zeno. He's on mute.
John, you're still muted.
Here, I can unmute. Okay, there you go. Oh, no. Unmute. I think he's muted himself, so I think he's got to do
Okay.
that.
Hey, he probably can hear me.
There we go. Hi, John.
Hey, sorry about that. My Zoom needed to update.
That's okay. Thanks for
I
joining
never
us.
had to update it before, so I was late. Apologies.
So you said they're working 5 hours per week. And is that through September or through August, or what is the time frame?
Well, hopefully we have them through at least August.
Mhm.
And we gotta be careful of the time that the oyster shellfishermen are at their busiest peak here. So it'll probably roll into September, or October.
Mhm.
And then, as I mentioned, we're working with John on the presentation to the harbor event, and hopefully that meeting does happen, and we have something of good material to present to the town.
Great. I know just from past beach cleanups that we've all been doing that some of the things that turned up most are those zip ties, and also in the lobster trap doors. There seem to be those every time you go out on a beach cleanup in the bayside. So I don't know if they're also looking into that. That equipment seems to be failing, and with the doors, becoming a real problem of marine debris and plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also a lot of, the line, the kind of green nylon line or rope that you see a lot of that out there as well. I think
All right.
that might also come from the lobster industry. So I know that's different from the shellfish, but it would be good to look into those.
Okay.
The grow bags, I don't know if they really I haven't seen those broken up in the landscape much. Have you? Anybody else? But, the plastic does degrade over time, and it probably will also fail and become a plastic pollution. I don't know if they've ever looked into like what the qualities are of the grow bag. It obviously has to be able to withstand the winters and things. But maybe that's something to write up a list of the qualities of these materials or the equipment so that people can know what's needed as an alternative. A kooky idea, could it be made out of, well, it's not that kooky because they used to make net out of hemp. Could they make grow bags out of hemp?
Yeah.
And would there be somebody even on the Cape? There's a lot of makers on the Cape that are really talented at making things. And there's even, as we've seen with COVID-19, we've seen people making face shields with their plastic 3D printers. And there's a group called Cape Cod Makers. Maybe they do things not just related to the current crisis. They might be someone that the interns could reach out to and see if they have ideas for this. I think because it's such a great industry on the Cape, and you'd probably get some real enthusiasm if you looked into that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The Cape Cod Makers have a website. It may be that they just, that they wouldn't deal with this, but it's a good chance they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3D printers use PLA, and I don't know what the properties of PLA in terms of degradation in a marine environment. But
Why don't you say a little bit about what PLA is, just for those that don't know?
it's a stands for polylactic acid. It is a plastic substitute made from plant materials, mostly corn. And it's compostable, so it does break down under, but only with a lot of heat, like 130, 140 degrees in commercial composting situations.
It's not good in the marine setting, however, it doesn't biodegrade there.
Oh, really? So it needs what, like, I guess, light and,
Yeah, it's the some sugar-based plastics that do biodegrade. I'm sure Tom is already in touch with some companies that are producing marine biodegradable plastics. Those are probably the ones that you'll be testing out. And they make a lot of different things, including those lobster trap doors. So just a matter of time and testing them to see whether they're really reasonable enough, I think price-wise too, for the shell fishermen to be interested.
Can I ask a dumb question?
sure.
I mean, the fishing industry predates plastics. What were we using before plastics?
Well, there was you look at the wooden lobster pot with probably some kind of fiber rope. And I'm not sure about the little doors. Maybe they were just made out of wood or metal, or maybe metal is something to look into because it would last a lot longer than the plastic. And it wouldn't, disappear and just break off from the rest of the pot and end up in the water. The zip ties, maybe one thing that the interns could do is also for those who aren't out on the flats, just maybe document what the zip ties do, how they secure the grow bags onto a framework. And that way, that helps in visualizing alternatives for people, for inventors that may not know the shellfish industry very well. Those are some ideas, and I think it's really great that you'll be working with CONSCOM and Hillary Greenberg-Lemos, the Health and Conservation Department. Maybe AmeriCorps could also get involved. As maybe you heard, they've been released or let go for this season because of the COVID-19 crisis, but hopefully they'll be back in the fall. But they're a great resource too, that whatever these interns learned could be passed on maybe to AmeriCorps or another set of interns going forward.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think the importance of this is to get the word out. And as you guys think about things through the summer or through your meetings, feel free to contact us as we work through this.
Okay.
I was just going through some of my paperwork, Lydia, and this Virginia Institute of Marine Sciences, they've been working for years on biodegradable components for lobster traps. I just see that in my notes. So yeah, we got some great leads. So we're looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think often it's cost that makes the difference. If the material is cheap, then there will be more of it. But maybe there's ways to provide either through the town or through SPAT or through, who knows, the state program to provide more sustainable materials, to provide money to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, Nancy's good at that. I mean, she's good at grant writing and things of that nature. So we got a good leader there. The goal is to just make sure we're not just polluting the ocean. And you got a lot of individuals, a lot of grant holders, shell fishermen that are really into this. We've got some good feedback, and they feel the same way. I mean, it's affecting, when it breaks down, it affects could be affecting the taste of the oysters or the clams. So it's good to be out front of this than waiting for somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Maybe what we could do is we'll just keep it on the agenda. So you're welcome to join us at our meetings. They're typically the first Tuesday of the month. We might do it from 12:30 now because of the select board. They meet at 10 o'clock, which was our previous time.
Okay.
We could also, if we have something new, we could ask to get on the Shellfish Advisory Board agenda. But I'm kind of interested, Zeno, could you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to be where you're at?
Sure. I've grown up in Truro, and I just finished up my first year in college, going to an engineering school.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I've worked on a couple of commercial fishing boats in the area, and really like doing stuff in and around the ocean, diving, fishing, all that kind of stuff. So, and I think, yeah, I mean, presumably there's some awareness about kind of the plastic pollution among the shellfish growers, but at least from my experience, I worked on a lobster boat out of Provincetown, and it seemed like they're just like, fishermen kind of knew that maybe there was a pollution problem, but it was the incentives weren't necessarily aligned in the proper way. Because usually the stuff that was more reusable or biodegradable usually was like significantly more expensive, or there was some other barrier in that regard. Like I know with lobstering, the entanglement issue is really big in terms of right whales, and there were from talking to people, it seems like the regulations that were put in place didn't seem necessarily to be very effective. Like most lobstermen would agree that they don't want to be entangling whales, but at the same time, the regulations that were put in place, they didn't necessarily see how that would kind of remedy the problem. So I was thinking about that a little bit in terms of incentives. If with the SPAT program, or I'm not 100% clear on what's happening there, but it seems like there is kind of a rebranding of Wellfleet oysters in general. If some sort of like green or ocean friendly label could be included, and then in order to get that for your grant, you had to abide by a certain set of principles. That might be an incentive that could allow shell fishermen to voluntarily follow these new rules, as opposed to just saying, okay, no more plastic zip ties. So
that's a very good idea. There's also is it the Ocean Conservancy that comes out with there's one of these groups that comes out with a little paper piece that you carry with you that tells about the most sustainably harvested fish. The grades that
The Monterey Aquarium does that, but I don't know if it has to do with plastics or just sustainability of the fisheries.
I like the idea that the ocean friendly label on a local level, or the New England level.
I would suggest that you use caution when determining what is sustainable and who's doing the certification. Like there's the Marine Stewardship Council, and everybody's got their own set of standards. And some fisheries that, that's where I come from. I like to fish, and there's a lot of fisheries that are managed based on sustainable. Is this fishery sustainable? And it's up for debate on how straightforward a lot of those recommendations are. One of the popular forage fish around here is menhaden, and that's one of them that's always on my radar, and that's got to do with the Marine Stewardship Council has been declaring them as a sustainable fishery, where there's one company that scoops up millions of tons of those things every year. So it's just worth taking into consideration who's doing the recommending.
Yeah,
and
good point.
As long as I got the floor here for a second, I have a question about, it seems like that some that there's a difference between what's recyclable and what is going to be biodegradable.
Mhm.
It almost seems like those are like mutually exclusive somehow. You know, you either want it to break down and go away forever, or you want to be able to recycle it like you would a plastic bottle, you know? So, like I was thinking, I asked the shellfish constable yesterday about the bags that I get my product in, that, you know, shell fishermen give you the 10 quarts worth of oysters in. And they're plastic, and I honestly didn't know what to do with them. She says the marine debris at the transfer station is where they go.
Yeah,
So
they're not recyclable. And,
so
you know,
what is the story with them? What do I do with them?
Christine will tell you.
well, you can put them in the marine debris or you can throw them away, but there's very little plastic. Well, first of all, very little plastic is recycled, even if it's recyclable. And what is recyclable is often contaminated, and you know the whole mess
Oh,
with
all right.
all
So
that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't really think about it as biodegradable versus recyclable, but more as, you know, is it plastic pollution? In which case, you know, it's breaking down in the ocean. You could say it's degrading, it's biodegrading, but it takes 1,000 years and you still end up with pieces of plastic. So
yeah, well, so throwing them out. I mean, I've done a mix. I've thrown one into marine debris, and I threw one out once. So
yes.
you know,
As long as you don't contaminate your recycling with it, that's the key. Is that
yeah. Well, I haven't tried yet. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, don't.
If I tried, somebody would bark at me there. You're putting that in the wrong place. So.
Well, unfortunately, they probably won't catch it, and then it just, you know, gets
The
into
the equipment, it gets tangled, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're because they seem like they're very sturdy, and if you ask, you know, just my opinion would be that they would take a long time to degrade.
Well, they're plastic, yeah.
Yeah, almost like you could put them in the dishwasher and use them. They'd be clean, and you could use them again.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean about you couldn't return them necessarily to the purveyor of the oysters, but that's something that I think of that I wonder, but what happens to that? Because it's me times the millions of other people that get those bags.
Right. They should come up with an alternative that's either paper-based or just something that could be washed and returned. What is it? What's the bag look like? I'm just curious. I'm not really sure.
It's just a black mesh bag. It looks like a miniature version of a laundry bag that sits about 2 feet tall, and it's got a cinch at the top.
Is it net?
Similar to like a bag of oranges. I gave mine back to the grower that I got them from.
Okay. That seems like there'd be lots of alternatives, you know, that, or if you can repurpose it and use it for something else. It sounds like it is really washable in your washing machine.
Yeah, I didn't try. So,
but a lot of plastic is not meant for reuse, and it does degrade over time.
So that particular plastic, well, I'm just curious about it because I do get those sort of on a regular basis now, and I'm curious as to what's the best thing to do with them. If they can't be recycled and they can't be turned into more bags of the same type or washed and returned to the guy I buy my oysters from, I'm at a loss other than just either throw it out or put it in the marine debris.
Yeah.
I would talk to the guy you could get your oysters from and say, can you reuse these?
Yeah, all right. Good idea.
Good. Well, let's see. Are there any other questions from?
I did have one question about whether the styrofoam floats that lobster boats use, and all of the rope that is polypropylene or something, I guess. If that's on your radar, or are you dealing more with aquaculture initially?
I heard something about that. Weren't they, Tom, is that something you know about?
No, I'm not familiar with that, no.
I heard, I don't know whether I read it or I was discussing it with somebody. I thought there was a new kind of lobster pot buoy that's made out of something other than styrofoam, so it's not going to break up. Either it's wood, I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember because I don't lobster fish, but a lobster fisherman would probably know that.
Maybe Zeno could look into it. And
yeah. I also remiss, I didn't have a chance to go through all those millions of emails we got with suggestions on what to do. what they could use help with, that Nancy forwarded around to us.
Mhm.
I took a glance at them, but I didn't get any particular big nuggets out of it.
Well, maybe we could, all do that, and our next meeting would be July 7th, kind of the heart of the holiday season, I guess. We could talk then, come up with hear about some of the research they've been doing.
And that sounds pretty good.
Okay, good.
And one thing that was in Nancy's emails was about those oyster bags that John was talking about,
Mhm.
and seemed like there was some issue with food safety in terms of using like a different material. But I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that. It always seems like it's more complicated than you originally think.
Right. Yeah. I guess, even in the state as a whole, they're not allowing reusable bags in the market right now. There's a push to change that, but because of the virus, there's concerns. Maybe, well, the bag has some of the qualities it has to have probably is that the air and water can get through it in case they're stored in an ice chest and things like that. Is that part of the quality of the net bag? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
the net,
sure that there's a history of the development of those bags I'm not aware of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So if aren't any other questions, we could thank you so much for joining us today. And you're welcome to stay on if you'd like. And I think what we'll do is hope to hear from each other in July. And again, if you can, maybe have some photographs that can be shared of the top 10 problems in the aquaculture plastics. That might be good just to visualize it and for publicity, and maybe there could be an article in the paper or something like that, an independent, or I think that Harbor conference is a great idea. That'll get a lot of attention if you can get on that agenda.
Okay, I can advise, I'll pass that on. I think we have a meeting coming up, a virtual meeting again next week or this week. And I'm not sure what, nobody's sure about what's going to happen with that. If there's not, my belief is that if things haven't opened up so that we can meet in person at the elementary school, it's unlikely that we're going to have some kind of virtual conference.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't been able to quite figure out how it could work. It seems like the opinion of the steering committee is that it's a social event. People like going there off season to see other people they haven't seen during the summer, and also to catch up on new things in the harbor. So whether or not it would work virtually, we're still debating it. I think we probably have to make a decision sometime in July whether we're going to move ahead or not. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but and whether I've mentioned that, the fact that there's a couple of things that could be good agenda. It seems like they've got plenty of stuff to put on the agenda already for the meeting. There's usually, the way it works is if you can't, you can always have a poster there. Like the recycling committee could obviously have a poster. I've done that before with bait fish. I've done a poster on what's going on with bait fish in lieu of doing a full presentation. Instead of the 20 minutes you do during the lunch break and during the breaks between segments, you can have people walk around and talk to the poster presenters.
There are, I'm sure, lots of ways to use the technology. It's obviously not the same because you can't just walk up and chat to people.
Yeah.
But there are ways that you can have like meeting rooms that, people can have visuals and that people can join. And
well, it's glad to hear that there's some, people love it. I know if there's a way to do it, we will try to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some advice you can get from people that know about how to do that kind of thing. Like Mia, I imagine, would be a good resource at the library.
Well, for
Our
those that
people.
like the meetings that have attended them in the past, if you can think of a way that it would be helpful and workable, I'll certainly be glad. I don't know if this group has do you guys have an email address at the town?
Yeah,
Like
it's wellfleetrecycles@gmail.com.
wellfleetrecycles@gmail.com. All right. I will send you when our next meeting's going to be and pass on your sentiments that you'd like to
Okay.
see a meeting one way or the other.
Well, I mean, it's great socially, but it's also such interesting lectures from people. So even if it's diminished in some way, I would personally love to see it.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
good. Well, good.
All
Thanks.
right, Lydia, Christine, thank you for the opportunity, and I guess we'll keep dialoguing through the summer.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much. What you're
All
doing
right.
is really important. I'm glad you're doing it.
All right, it was nice
Take
I
care.
could get in finally. Thank you for being
Yeah,
patient
nice to
with me.
meet you. Oh. Bye.
You guys.
Bye, Zeno.
Thanks.
Okay, so here we are, and I want to welcome, we'll go back to another item on having to do with the number 4 there on the agenda, but I want to go to Brigid McKenna now, who is very pleased to say she's planning on getting married on the Cape in October. And Brigid, should I unmute you here?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Sure,
Hi
thank
there.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's, you know, it's just a day. It doesn't really signify our relationship, but we'll see if we can still continue getting married. We'll get married regardless. I don't know if we'll have a wedding on that day, but.
Right.
Well, we would love to be able to offer you the community cutlery for that day, or if you need, you know.
Yeah, that'd be great. We've independently collected a bunch of plates and utensils and things like that, because our primary goal is to have a zero waste wedding. So everything, you know, we're not going to have any plastic. Everything will be recyclable and reusable. So this is great, and we can donate anything that we collect on our own to the cutlery program.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. There's so your guess, it sounds like it's 125 basically.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens, but yeah, as of right now.
Yeah. But we can be prepared for that many, I think. We're almost there. We have definitely tons of forks, knives, spoons, and I think we have about maybe 130 napkins now, Christine. We did an inventory.
Yeah, something like that.
Just so you know, the napkins, they're on the website. They're all different colors, but they're all the same size and the same weight. They're cotton.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
And there's also some really nice pictures that we have from previous weddings that we can share with you that show what it looks like all set up, you know, just to give you some idea. It is going to be mix and match. You know, if we get all the forks and knives and stuff, that's all mix and match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
sorry, go ahead.
That's okay, that all mix and match, right?
Of course, yeah. When we had originally, we didn't know about your program, so we're thrilled about learning about it and that you exist in general, but we were going to scour all the swap shops. So the whole plan originally was going to be mix and match, so this does not disrupt anything.
Okay.
Well, that's the source of a lot of our stuff. So as well as other events, people buy stuff and then they contribute it. So that's how it grows.
Excellent.
So, you know, it's obviously not it's suspended now, and it's soon going to be part of the library. They're starting a library of things. So community cutlery is going to be sort of the beginnings of that. So there will be library policies on when they're opening it up again for sharing. But hopefully by October, but we'll see.
Yep, that sounds good.
And Truro, the town of Truro has a huge number of plates. They have, at their elementary school as a fundraiser, they do a spaghetti dinner, a lot like the Wellfleet one. I think at least 200, 300 people. And they had all, you know, china plates for their fundraiser. And I'm thinking that if we can gather, we can probably gather as many as you need, but we might also see if those ones in Truro are available That way we wouldn't have to gather and store so many. So we could look into that for you if you like.
It's up to you. I don't mind contacting them if you are all too busy.
It might be better coming from you because you're the bride and
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. This is the elementary school you said?
yes.
Okay. Yep,
They
I can do that.
a great job there. They have a farmer in the school program and garden on site and everything. It's a great program.
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
The wine glasses, I mean, we can collect some. Some of the other stuff we may need to purchase, and I thought I could suggest to the committee that we come up with an amount for purchasing extra stuff. Like the beverage carafes, Christine, those are, I think we have maybe a dozen of those, or
Probably more, because we got all the ones from Vanessa's wedding. They're a smaller size, but I'll make a note to add the things that are in my basement to the inventory we did.
okay.
I think we put on there the carafes. Anyway, I'll just make sure that everything is on the list.
Yeah. There's also this thing that we used last summer at the road race, which is it's called a fusti. It's a stainless steel tank. I think was it 50 gallon? It holds
15 liters.
15 liters. It can hold anything you want, from lemonade to just water or wine. Often you'll see olive oil being dispensed from these at certain markets, where you can refill your bottle. So we'll probably get another one of those, and that's a great thing to have. You can put lots of ice in it and have a chilled beverage in that.
And Brigid, we also have like recycling bins. They're called X-frames. It's like a rack that you put a bag on that you can use for collection of recycling, compostables, trash.
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Right. So we have a little work to do in gathering the stuff, but I'm sure it'll be ready by the fall, early fall.
Is there a way to coordinate more easily with like a Google sheet or something to update you on how many pieces I have, or are you gonna does it matter, I guess, to you for your overall inventory?
I think it would be helpful to know what you have. That way we could put it in Google Drive, Christine, as a Google spreadsheet or whatever, and share we can do that easily. The inventory, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we're not all trying to get the same thing.
Okay. And
great.
Well, thanks, and all the best. And we'll be, as I said, we meet every month at the beginning of the month. So we'll email you with the Google sheet information and and update you periodically.
Yeah, same here. I think my partner's sister used to own a restaurant, so I think we're getting at least 60 more plates and things from them.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So again, anything we have, we'll donate or we'll give to you after. So hopefully that helps out mitigate some needs.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's really generous. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm so glad that you guys operate. This is wonderful. And actually, I worked Vanessa's wedding. I was bartending it. Yes.
Ah, okay.
So I remember it was at Pres Hall.
Yeah.
I remember all of the napkins.
They were clean and fresh when she used them, but they've been used a lot since then.
Well,
The
they're
wedding
still
was
nice.
beautiful.
They're all clean, and everything that we have is cleaned. And then we also ask you to clean it on your end at the beginning, just to make sure it has to.
Of course. Did you have? I didn't know if you had in stock any tablecloths. Sorry.
Tablecloths. We don't have any in stock ourselves.
Okay.
It's one of those things that we could reach out to our contact and find out if they're out there, if people they want to donate. And we work a lot with the Boomerang Bags group that deals with a lot of cloth, and some they have just material that you could use.
Okay.
Your table is going to be round or rectangular, or
They're rectangular. I know that's probably challenging too because there's so many different sizes and shapes in stock. So we were thinking about trying to find some, and then same thing. Anything we'd get. Sorry, my dog's barking. Anything I'd get would be given. So, but I know it can be challenging.
Yeah, if you let us know the dimensions that you need, we can put the word out there.
Okay,
Our group.
great. Thank you.
Good. We're really pleased that you're doing a zero waste wedding. That's great.
Yeah.
I've worked so many, and it's really sad to see how much waste is involved in a lot of just one day events. So we're trying to be as environmentally conscious as possible.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you, Brigid. And,
Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Have a nice rest of the week, and we'll be talking to you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So to go back to item number 4, which is the alternatives to plastic aquaculture equipment, we did the introduction, and I thought we could discuss a stipend or other assistance for the 2 interns. It sounds like they're both, in college. And what do you think about looking at our budget and suggesting an amount to give to them for their work?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
How do I get the, all right, I have to do the screen share thing. So here's the budget. This is the report we got today. Oops. That's not it. Here we go. So can y'all see that?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
tiny. It's very, very tiny.
Tiny.
Is there?
Well, they're on iPhones, so don't listen to them.
This is
I'm not on a phone.
Okay. Well, it's big on my screen.
we can
Big
translate.
enough.
This
I
is
have mine on my phone too, and you can expand it by pinching and moving your fingers out. Try that.
I get rid of my faces.
Lonnie's our tech support.
I know. Thank goodness someone knows how to use the
Amazing.
iPhone and Zoom.
Well, this is the new format from our wonderful new town accountant, Jean Ferrari. And it is much more understandable.
So I was looking at it. This just shows the budget that we got coming in, and then a couple of expenditures in fiscal year 20. And but it doesn't show what our ending balances from fiscal year 19 are. So I left a message for Jean yesterday to try to figure out how to recapture the. Let's see. I wrote down how much we had left from last year. Hold on a sec.
This does say 7/1/2019 to May 31st.
Excuse me?
The dates on this, it does say July 1, 2019.
Yeah,
Well, that's the start date.
that's not the end.
I
The
mean,
end date is the end of May of this year. So it's year to date for fiscal year 20.
yeah.
So here's a piece of paper, but it just doesn't show the fiscal year 19 balances. So we had $1,963 left over to purchase the town hall refill station. And then we had $2,260 left over from our gift fund. So in addition to our current balance of $951, I won't include the bottle refill station because that's targeted. So we have 951 plus 2260. So that gives us 13,211.
Okay, so that's a good amount.
But we haven't really talked about, what our budget is for this year, what we want to spend our money on. So we probably ought to. We had a tentative budget that we looked at last year.
Expenses wise, I know that the year before we didn't spend money, and so we lost it. So I think we should spend
Yes.
money.
Yeah.
Well, we absolutely have to spend the $500. Actually, all of the budget, the $1,275, we'll lose it if we don't spend. Oh gosh, that's right, and it's over in a month. So let's start spending
So
money.
yeah. Also, the one other point is the DPW they have some money for printing items, for any printed pieces or.
Yeah. So the budget includes the 500 from them, Lydia. So it's the $775 the $775 we get in the budget that's approved at town meeting, plus the 500 from DPW. So that gives us the 1275 starting budget for fiscal year 20.
So for these young people, they're working 5 hours per week, and it sounds like they'd go. School starts if they're going to be going out to campus. You know, they'd probably leave late August or early, at the latest. But I think it doesn't mean they couldn't continue some work into the fall. Also, they can do online research, which a lot of this, would be. So what do you suggest as a stipend? Like, what do you like? I think, any thoughts on that? Something, if we look at what AmeriCorps service volunteers get, like maybe we should look at that. I think it's between 20 and 30 an hour. And though they're volunteers, they do put a value on the work that's done so they can, plan ahead.
I'm surprised if it was that much. I thought they just got a really minimal stipend.
No. They get a fair wage, the AmeriCorps volunteers. Yeah. And we can look at that.
Okay.
How many hours do you think we're looking at?
Well,
it's 5 hours a week.
Yeah. So that's
5 a week for the summer. And they've started already, correct?
Yeah. But we could say from, let's see, should we say June through, I think maybe June through June and July, through half of August? Because if they're going to school, they're not, I don't know, what do you think about that?
Maybe just June and July, but we could talk to Nancy and see what their schedules are.
My thought is that even if we just give them August, that not only are they volunteering, they're volunteering for something that's essential, and to just be generous with them as an inspiration into their own future. There's many things people can volunteer for that are not necessarily for the environment, for the benefit of the greater population, etc. So I'm also looking at the value of where they're putting their time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just as an example, if for $20 an hour for 5 hours a week for 8 weeks would be $800 each, which is quite a bit more than we have to spend by the end of June.
What would be a okay percentage to what we have by the end of June? Did that sentence make sense? Did to me?
I'm going to take what we have to spend.
What is it again, please? That we have to
$950. So it would be $450 each if we gave them what we have to spend by the end of June. And divided over 8 weeks, that would be $56 a week for the two of them. So it would only be about $25 a week.
Well, if we give it to them at the beginning all at once, it seems like more.
Well, we can, Yeah, that's true.
And
I
it
think
is,
it would be good, they'd have a sum that they can work with instead of just along the way.
Yeah.
Idea of what's coming to them.
Hmm.
I'd like to push the figure as much as everyone's comfortable.
so Christine, again, we have 950 available to us. Is that?
Well, that's what we would lose from our budget by the end of this month.
Okay. So there is an incentive to spend that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think perhaps the full 950, or do you want to go to 800 or?
I think the 950 because
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
expenditures that we're going to have this month to replace fire stuff, we're not paying for. That's coming out of the general fund.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's going to be much else going on, is there?
Well, there could be some items for the wedding, but probably those we can. What do you think? I mean, we have to buy some of that stuff.
Well, I mean, things are not going to be that different in October. So I would doubt that someone's going to have an in-person wedding in October.
yeah. I know.
So I don't know when she's going to make that decision.
I don't understand why we have to buy something for somebody's wedding.
We don't.
But we would have it to loan out to future weddings. You know, it's one thing. Is we're kind of building up this program, so we can do more zero waste weddings.
But the other point is that the Friends of the Library has provided a generous budget to the library for the beginnings of Library of Things. So we can purchase that way if things are approved.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
I think we should hang on to our hard-earned cash. So we have like about 2,200 that we still have to work with that'll carry over because it's from our own gift drive.
Okay. Is there a motion on the stipend for the shellfish interns?
I make a motion to split $950 between the two interns and give them that amount of money before the end of June.
Okay.
I second the motion.
That was Jaya.
I second it. I was wondering if we couldn't just give them 500 apiece somehow.
We can.
I would like that.
I mean, it seems a little bit better than just 425. I don't know.
450.
450,
Yeah,
450.
yeah.
So that's an amendment. Or do you want to save 1,000 total here? Or?
Yeah.
So that's is everyone, there's consensus that that's okay, people?
Yes.
That's okay with me.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you quorum, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of us here. Lonnie, Beth, you,
Oh, good,
Christine,
good.
Jaya.
My screen's gone completely blank, so I'm a little bit in the dark.
I don't know why. You must have turned your camera off.
There you
Oh
are.
no, there you
Yeah.
are. I found you. I found you.
Yeah.
Found you. I can get you one at a time.
So,
It's Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi.
We're still here. Beth is gone. But Beth went dark.
all in
Yeah.
favor?
Okay, so let me make my motion again then. I make a motion that we give $500 each to the two Shellfish Advisory Board interns.
Excellent.
There
I
you
second
Okay,
the
and
motion.
there's Jaya seconding it.
Yeah.
And all,
Jaya
any further
seconded it.
notes or comments? Okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yep. So we've all raised our, I can't see Lonnie's hand, but Lonnie, you want to say aye or nay?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I.
All right. Thanks.
And how about Beth?
And
You there, Beth?
Beth?
She must have stepped away because she's on.
Yeah.
She was on. Well, I'll put 5-0 then.
So
One
let's-
abstention.
I think she stepped away.
Probably.
Okay. Let's go back to the agenda. So we've kind of been all over the place. We'll kind of quickly talk about the public spaces at the beaches. I spoke with Suzanne Grout-Thomas the other day. She talked about the beaches, and they're reducing the number of parking spaces. They've closed the restrooms. They're providing portable toilets and portable hand washing stations. There is going to be a concession stand at Newcomb's only, and they have a dumpster there for the trash. We did talk about carry in, carry out briefly, and she said that she really can't subject her staff to picking up trash at the beach. She feels that that's what would happen with a carry in, carry out program, that it would be left on the beach or in the parking lot. And we know that from past experience,
napkins.
putting it in there, taking it with them, or putting it in a trash receptacle, that they do end up leaving it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good time to make that transition. That always happens, apparently.
and, she said for gloves, that they're discouraging the use of gloves because people will put on gloves, they'll touch something, then they'll touch their face, and then they'll touch other stuff. And by that point, it's just better if you wash your hands without, forget the gloves. So unless, of course, you're dealing with some gross stuff and you want to wear gloves. That was the update from her. We forwarded to her some materials from this Take Care Cape Cod campaign. It's really great. Let's see if I have a folder of it. Images. It's a campaign Christina's been working with Jill Talladay of Care for the Cape and Islands on this. It originated in Tahoe, Lake Tahoe region. And here's some of the images. It uses, like you can see these. Here we go. It uses humor, color, brightness to get the point across. So this is their carry in, carry out thing. I don't think it's that successful, but these other ones are really kind of fun. Like here's one having to do with creating distance, go big on distancing. And then this one, hide trash here, please. Can you see these okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
This one is, oops, wrong one. So if it's your dog, then it's your duty. That's pretty good.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
There's a better hiding spot for your garbage, the trash can, and you see a little cigarette butt peeking out from behind the tree. The Cape Cod Regional Transit has adopted these signs in some other places on the Cape, including the High Line, ferry boat, and elsewhere. We sent these on to the select board and to Suzanne Grout-Thomas at the beach department in case they want to use them in the future. It's a free program. And there's lots of other ones too. That's takecarecapecod.org or .com, I think.
.org.
.org. So there's that. Stop share. The county as a whole, or the Cape and Islands as a whole, has come up with signage having to do with COVID-19 crisis. So that's being used at beaches all over. But not to say that maybe one day they could use incorporate some of these into the messages that they have, either online or in person, on site. I wanted to get that out there. Correspondence. We heard under another correspondence item, we heard from why don't we go to Carol? Carol, do you have some things to share from the Energy and Climate Action Committee?
Really not. There's not much progress on things because of COVID-19. So.
Okay.
Hey, Carol, do you have your phone on too? There's some reverb that's going on, which sometimes happens if people have a microphone on their computer and have their phone on. No? Okay. You're muted now, so we can't hear you. There we
The
go.
feedback has been terrible for me. but I don't have my phone on. So
I don't know.
I couldn't hear. They were
Yeah.
echoing like 3 times.
Yeah, maybe you have another window open on your computer with the Zoom window or something.
It's possible because I kept trying to log in.
Yeah.
Once I upgraded to Zoom 5, it has not
Right.
worked properly. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe the other one's still open, but
I'm guessing the other one is still open
check on
because
that.
it's
Thank
it's just on your audio.
okay. So no news from there, and I guess the solar panels are not active quite yet. Not turned on. Social media posts, that was going to be Chris Wisniewski, but she wasn't able to join us today. Gabrielle, you might have seen us working on virtual fix-it clinics around the country, actually around the world. It's pretty neat because now you really have to work. If you're doing the fixing something, you don't have the coach to actually do the work. You have to do it yourself, which is kind of a good new thing with the fix-it clinic. Often you'd be watching the coach do it, but it wasn't as hands-on as some would have liked. So that's a positive development. We got a question about green foodware lids for, I guess, coffee cups and bowls. And Christine has a gag, updated gag that Lonni started. And she said there's new materials coming out all the time. And Christine, you'll have that.
What is the green foodware list?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the take care guide one. Yeah. So I can share the screen with just a second and show. Oh, let's see. I'm disabled from screen sharing, so never mind. But anyway, we had a Zoom sort of summit discussion. And the highlights were Mary Ryther from Compost With Me in Falmouth, and Tracy from Winslow's, both talking about composting on site, which is what Winslow's does. And Mary was talking about, so her business has been doing both municipal and commercial pickups in Falmouth for quite a while, but she's run out of space on her farm. So a company that's more active on the North Shore called Black Earth is going to be starting commercial compost collection on July 1st on the Cape.
Yay.
And so they're taking over Mary's routes in Falmouth, both institutional and commercial. And they've apparently found a site in Plymouth where they can do their composting. That's the big challenge, is finding a nearby site, because it's pretty hard to locate on the Cape due to all the housing and stuff. Anyway, so that's exciting. And I think Mary's going to be working with them. They want her to be their sort of PR person and business development to, get businesses onto as customers, so that they have a viable number that they can come to areas like the Outer Cape. And Tracy said she'll work on it too.
This
anyway.
really has legs, like that this is finally going to be the one that works.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of turned into, it was really interesting working with Mary, because she knows so much about the industry, but she said that it's really changing between sort of the hauling side of it and the composting side of it. And there are some, compost sites that just don't want to do the hauling, which is, I think, kind of the case with Watts. And so now there are companies like Black Earth that, just have all the infrastructure, the trucks, that automatically pick up buckets, and the staff, and, to cover areas. And so they are, of course, going to be having their own sites, but it's it's more kind of like the trash hauling and the landfills and the incinerators and stuff. So it's really exciting that something might be changing this summer on the Cape regarding commercial compost.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, also, and I'm working on a purchasing guide for green products. And so I talked about some of those findings, and there's, I just have a very short PowerPoint, which I can send out if anyone's interested. And then we'll be adding to that all the compostable products that we've that we've located and that we're going to put in the guide as good options for businesses.
Bravo, Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
wonderful.
And the slides or the presentation was, those slides will be available through the Care for the Cape and Islands website. Is that right?
Everybody's slides.
Or the program today, like the recording of that Zoom meeting?
Oh, the recording, yes. So the Cape Media, the woman, Gabrielle Rosen, who moderated, she does a really nice job sort of polishing it into a produced looking piece of video, and then it'll be posted on the website. I'll send out the link when it's ready.
Great.
Good.
Thank you. So we have, what else? Updates on recent projects, the summer 2020 initiatives. We had talked about doing some things at the beach office. There is no beach office anymore this summer anyway. I think some of the things we can do is share some of the Take Care of Cape Cod material with maybe the Chamber of Commerce in case some members want to include that. Christine's certainly going to share all the news on the cooperative purchasing guide, buying guide with the Chamber. Water bottle refill stations, do we have an update on that from Marina or DPW?
I actually called the harbor master, and they said that that it's in progress.
All right.
And I don't know exactly what that means, but
Yeah.
I said, well, what's the timeline? Like this month? And he said, yes.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
So I emailed Hillary to see if there was anything related to coronavirus that may affect turning on public water fountains and refill stations. She said she doesn't know of anything, but she asked if they had prepared their cleaning and disinfection plan or something like that. I said, I'm sure they haven't. So do you have a sample of what that looks like? She goes, no, they just have to say how often they're going to wash and disinfect it and then submit that to health
A lot
department.
of places they would use a foot pump to turn the water on.
Good idea.
Fountain,
Yeah. Well, this has a button now that you can push with your hip. You don't actually have to push, well, depending on where it's located, but you can push with a body part maybe on the button.
Okay.
I
But
guess there's the thought there too is especially because hand washing is so important and it's going to be going forward, and I think people are, they're putting them in the beaches. Suzanne said they look like portable toilets. It's a plastic unit with soap and a water tank in it, and I guess it's foot operated, or I'm not sure how, but anyway, that's what they look like. And maybe there's some, in the future there could be some fountains that allow for washing hands that are kind of nicer looking than that. I hope they'll be developed,
Also regarding the town hall water refill station, I can't remember if we talked last month about the fact that, the installation estimate is $3,000. Speaking of which, that's where $1,000 of our money was going to go. So some of the $1,000 that we had allocated out of the gift fund for installation will be used for supplies to do the installation. But one of the water commissioners has volunteered to do the work for free.
Okay, that's fabulous.
So that solves our problem of needing to come up with another couple $1,000. But of course, since he's a volunteer, I talked to him a month ago and I haven't heard anything, but I did send an email just yesterday to Jim Hood to get in touch with him. And his first name is Neil. I don't remember.
Neil Gadway.
Gadway, yeah. So he was going to talk to DPW and talk to, the plumber, Laconis, and scope the project.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So producer responsibility for packaging, I don't have any news on that. So we'll revisit that another time. We have fall tax insert deadline September 1st. So that's something to all be thinking about if you want to do a printed piece for this fall text insert, or design something that would share a page, because I think that's the way they're doing it now. They're not doing separate little pieces.
That's good. Do you know if they're still going to charge? Whatever.
I don't know. I'll find out from Karen Murphy is the town collector. I'll look into that.
Okay.
And we should think about what is the message. Zero waste is always a good message, but maybe for next time. Regional plastic water bottle ban. The town meeting is, as far as I know, it's still October 5th. And I didn't hear the meeting today. They might have talked more about it, but
I couldn't be at that either, but I'll listen to it.
Okay.
Some towns are opting not to consider citizen petitions just to make the meeting go more quickly, because they tend to be the most controversial and discussion heavy. But I haven't heard anything about that in Wellfleet yet. Have you, Lydia?
No.
Okay.
Just to note, Orleans is having their town meeting in June at a ball field.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
So far, anyway, that's what I heard about 2 weeks ago. Let's do that.
And the drive-in is having, celebrations for graduates. So maybe we can have our town meeting at the drive-in.
Yeah.
There's a snack bar, and they're improving it for contactless use when they open for movies.
Carside pick.
I don't know what the plan is.
All right, so we could go to the minutes now. Thank you,
Yes.
Christine, for putting them all in a PDF. And
Let me put them. If you give me screen sharing privileges, I can display them.
How do I do that? Under participants or?
No, you go under screen share. There's a little up caret that you
Okay.
press next to the screen share.
Multiple participants can share
And
something.
go down to advanced options.
Okay.
And there you can give participants. You can say all participants can share.
It tells me I can't. It says you cannot modify the advanced sharing options as these settings are locked by your admin.
Oh.
So I can put them up. I have them also.
Okay.
I think I can do it one at a time. Let's see here. Yeah, here's the email that you sent. So I'll just do the March one first. And
let me grab my hard copy so I can make notes.
so here is the first one. Sorry, the screen is, let's see if I can. This is the PDF. Can you read it okay?
I can.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so has anybody read through these?
Yes, I have.
Okay, does anybody have any comments on which one are we doing first? March. Okay.
March. It looked good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So no comments on March?
Nope.
Okay.
is there a motion to approve them? We could do that at the end, maybe, or no, we'll do it now. Motion to approve the March minutes.
Well, if no one else wants to, I scanned them. I did scan them before the meeting also.
Okay, Jaya, is there a second?
I'll second.
I second it.
Okay,
Okay, Lonni.
Lonni, and all in favor? Lydia, aye.
Christine, aye.
Yeah. Aye.
Let me go
Anybody?
back to looking at everybody. So is everybody, how many people? So we had Lonni, Jane,
6.
Jaya, Lydia, and me. So we had 6.
Okay.
No, 5.
Mike, this is all being recorded too, so that's good. Mike briefed us on the transfer session. This is the April 7th meeting.
Any comments on April meeting?
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the April 7th meeting minutes?
I make
My
a
name
motion
is
to-
misspelled, but,
Well, we can correct that, Jaya. Where's, oh yeah, it's with a
Oh,
K.
sorry, it's a K.
okay.
Yeah. I know that typo.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I'll fix it. Not a problem.
That's an easy one. The minutes are always good to look at. It reminds you of the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
There's a lot in here that, we signed on for here.
yeah, that always happens in the heat of the moment. Hear that? I'll try to get them out in a more timely fashion so that people actually have an opportunity to say, oh yeah, I could do that thing I said I'd do.
Okay, is there a motion to approve April 7 minutes?
I make a motion to approve the April 7 minutes.
Second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, Lydia.
Hi.
Me,
Hi,
I,
Lonni.
Okay.
and Jane. Jane, you're muted. Do you approve?
Maybe I can unmute her.
Hey, Jane, you're muted. Hi there. Can you unmute your, I think,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
okay.
Jane?
Jane.
Every time I press it, she probably presses it too.
Okay.
There we go. Hi, Jane.
Yes, I can't approve the minutes because I wasn't at the meeting.
Oh, okay. So that one is 4-0 then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Go on to the next one, May 5th, last month.
Yep.
These are from Chris Wisniewski. Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the May minutes?
Yes, I move we so approve.
Thanks, James. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thanks.
Aye.
So
Is
our
that everyone? 5-0?
Yep.
Okay.
our next meeting is July 7th, and we will have some Shellfish Advisory Board intern material to discuss that. And just please stay tuned.
Yeah, Lydia, we didn't talk about the plastic water bottle ban and whether we want to do anything. I don't.
Yeah, I don't particularly know either.
Yeah,
But it's
Yeah.
October 5th, so there's time to do stuff if we do want to.
right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like the right time to bring that up.
Yeah. It's hard, especially if the water stations are not going to have, if they're going to be limited access to water.
Right.
So I think that we should push for more water, though, more free water outside.
Yeah.
Whenever it's, I think it is safe now. But,
Somehow.
mhm. All right. Anything else for future? You have a future concern? Okay, I think that's it. Thanks, everybody. I think we have a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, and it is 1:55.
Okay.
And we started
second
at
it.
12:32. Alrighty.
All right. Well,
I will
enjoy the
keep
rest
it.
of the week, everybody. Good to see you all.
Nice to see everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Lydia
Bye.
and Christine. Thank you.
You're
You bet.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.